Hey, I'm Myers Jackson. I'm here today with Aaron with Aspire Lending, right?
Yep, Aspire Mortgage Brokers.
So he come in and I'm going to tell you what, he started asking me a bunch of questions. And I said, this is a good opportunity to answer questions because the questions are coming from someone. Have you ever attended an auction? I mean, what's the first auction that you ever attended?
Recently, I went to one of your auctions and watched the magic happen.
So we had an auction up in Plano. What we had? How many people did we have in that house that day?
Oh, 50, 60?
Yeah, there was probably more like 75, 80, but it was all over the place. But everybody always got questions. And number one thing is I don't want you to be scared about the auction. So I tell everybody, don't be scared about this process. So as a lender, he comes to one of our open houses today and he goes to asking me all these questions, and that's great. This is what I want to know. So how long have you been in the mortgage business?
17 years.
17 years. So you know the ropes. So first of all, here is someone who wants to lend people money on a house. And what I always say, we don't dictate where you get your money from. We're not going to say, hey, go to this person, that person, or whatever. When you promise to buy the house, get your money from somewhere, come close. That's what we're looking for. But you got some questions for me. What kind of questions you got for me?
First question is, when you're talking to a seller getting the property, how do you determine when the auction is going to happen and how long you guys hold it, and what's the process?
So, being an auctioneer, this is what I learned a long time ago, is you never know about what the situation is until you talk to that seller. I want to tell you, some sellers need quick action. Auctioneers are really, really good at producing urgency. And when we produce this urgency, now we're looking for a buyer because they may need a buyer really, really quick. Some people may not have to wait so long. So it's just like, okay, when you take a mortgage application, what happens?
Yeah, depends on how fast you get all the documents and information to get it closed.
Well, but you're evaluating that borrower,
That's
right?
right.
So we're doing the same thing with the sellers. It was like, okay, what is your situation? What do we have to do? How are we going to do this? How fast do you need to move? So auctioneers have always been very, very good at putting all this thing together because this is my record now. My record is 47 hours and 20 minutes putting something up under a solid contract.
Wow.
Now, this is my record from listing contract to close, 7 days.
Wow.
So everything has to fall in line and everybody has to be ready to make these things happen. Lender, if there's one involved, that's the reason why we want to work with somebody who's willing to get into the process. The title company's got to be involved. Everybody's got to be involved to make this happen. So that's a great question. You just have to evaluate the situation. I call it a free property analysis.
Right.
And we come out and we do an evaluation on everything that we look for. That's a good question. I know you got some more.
Yeah, so if I'm out looking to bid on properties through an auction, I want to make sure that I'm able to come up with the cash to close.
Exactly.
And so, how do we make sure that people can get loans on a property? You make sure the property is set fit for getting loans on it.
So this is okay. So I just took a call right before we started this video, right? I said, and I won't call names, but this was a gentleman on the phone, and he says, "Hey, I've got a lender." So they're getting prepared in advance. You buy at the auction, it doesn't necessarily mean that you cannot borrow the money. I'm just not going to dictate to you how you're going to do it. Now, this is where you come in.
Yep.
Is you come in and you say, okay, you take buyer A and you evaluate buyer A for the loan product,
Yep.
whichever loan product that they're qualified for, boom, 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 boom. And then you tell buyer A that they're qualified to go down and bid on this property.
Yep, and we just need to make sure that the properties qualify for financing, right?
So now, this is something that we've been talking about. How do we do that? Number one, auctioneers open this up for inspection right off the bat. So everybody can come in and take a look. They can look, they can look, they can look, they can look. Now, during that same time period, they can reach out. So let me just ask you this, Aaron. So somebody walks in there and they say, hey, I want to buy this loan. And you're going, or not buy the loan, but apply for the loan.
Right.
And you're going to say, well, which property are you looking at?
Right.
Okay, and then I've been doing this a long time, so I think I know the ropes. And then you're going to say, let's do your own evaluation, which could be an appraisal or some type of underwriting action.
Right.
That now you're going to look at the property and you're going to tell them that the house will approve for the loan or not be
qualified for the
qualify.
Loan, right?
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
So how do we do that?
Well, we make sure that two most important parts: roof, foundation. So if you're opening up the house an hour before you do your your auction, I guess they could bring an inspector in with them.
They can do that.
Or potentially the lender will have an appraisal and know that the house will appraise and that it will come financing terms are available.
So now this is what I would suggest. Like if anybody is interested in a property, if you're interested in this property, then number one, call the auctioneer, get a hold of the auctioneer's agent, say, hey, when can I start the inspection? At the same time, simultaneous, if you don't have the cash in your wallet and you need to get that financing, if you need to talk to the lender, hey, call somebody just like, hey, call Aaron right here. We're going to tag Aaron in this, and you can talk to Aaron direct. But find out what Aaron is going to need, because this is all part of the process too. So when you put your offer in, you're ready. Number one, this is a big difference, and I do these videos all the time. Real estate agents versus auctioneer. So it's not meant to. I guess it is still kind of a competition, but it's not to bash on either party. What we're doing is say, what does an auctioneer do different?
Right.
A lot of times they say, well, it's an auction and we're going to get this for 10 cents on the dollar. It's your job to make a deal, but it's my job to ask for the most possible money under the best contract terms. What we're doing is creating that atmosphere where everybody knows the same thing that everybody else knows, and now I'm doing is asking everybody, hey, what kind of money will you pay?
Right. So you're looking to get the most amount and help the sellers, and the buyers are probably typically looking to pay the least amount, and somewhere in the middle.
That's
your deal.
That is their job.
That's right.
That is their job. But you know what? If you don't get involved in the process, and if you don't put your hand in the air, if you don't come around and say, hey, I'm willing to pay X, then right. I never know.
You never know. So.
I mean, we're closing one tomorrow. We're closing one tomorrow, a South Lake property. And there was a lot of people standing on the sidelines. Well, this is not going to happen. No, we don't believe that the seller is going to do this. So someone come through the door, and we're bidding online. And they got what I refer to as the correct change.
Right.
They put their bid in, they put it again against some other people, and the seller said, sell it.
Yep.
And there's going to be some people looked up and says, I wish I'd had an opportunity. Well, the bottom line is you got the opportunity, you're just not taking the opportunities.
They just need to get registered on your link, get registered on your site, and start looking.
When we open these doors, we're out here in Keller today. Okay, yep. So we're in Keller at an open house. What's going to happen is Aaron's here, and you know what? He won't sure. I'm going to almost guarantee you this right here. Auctioneers never make guarantees. Okay, but we're going to make a guarantee right here that Aaron wants to loan you some money. But in order for Aaron to loan you some money, you got to come through the door and go to asking Aaron some questions. That's what you have to do and get ready to do. You can tell you, listen, I know it's a little noise in here. They're making too much, but everybody's in here asking questions. This is what's going on. It's a madhouse in here today. What other question you got for me here?
So live, also you do online. So we've got people tuning in online to bid at this thing. And
you've been to my auction before, and I tell people, listen, my job is to qualify the buyer. Okay, can you bid? What proof can you give to me that you can buy this house? And I tell them, I said, listen, let the carrier pigeon come in the door with his proof of funds on one leg and the bid on the other. I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to take that bid, right. Because that's what, as an auctioneer, that's what I have to do. But on the other hand, I know this person has already talked to you in most circumstances. We've got the letter. We know that they're qualified to bid. So it's easy to get registered in this thing. It's easy for them to do the inspection beforehand. It's easy to get a loan. Well, according to whatever their qualifications are. I mean, it's not like it's rocket science. Just call Aaron, get your loan, get you an inspector, look at the house and say, hey, I'll pay X number of dollars for this house. Everybody does the same thing. Whoever comes out on top is who we generally sell to.
That's it. I love it. Looking forward to seeing you get a deal done today.
Hey, let's do it. Aaron, I appreciate
sir.
you, buddy. Thank you for coming in. We're going to talk some more.
I love it.